What? What's going on? Are you kidding me? Oh, there's not a lot here, I guess. Alright. Reports. Report Aedirn. Enemy armies in tatters, fleeing south towards border. Movements chaotic, uncoordinated, suggest no contact with command. Scoia'tael commandos also in retreat, to east towards Dol Plethana. Without Nilfgaardian support, elves slaughtered by Aedirnians whenever caught. Emperor preparing for peace summit. Reports indicate willingness to make far-reaching concessions. Last bastion of enemy resistance, fortress in Aldersburg. Remaining troops guarding it led by General Ardel ap Dahi. He refuses all calls to capitulate. Port, Captain Tobias. Your Highness, we deeply regret to inform you that Captain Tobias, who provided us with invaluable information from the Nilfgaardian-occupied capital, was unmasked and beheaded after 3 days of intensive torture. While leaving the city, the invaders took with them his family, a wife and 2 children, 12 and 7 years of age. Their fate remains unknown. Report, Battle of Brenna. Your Majesty, good tidings from the Western Front. The combined forces of Temeria, Cadwin, and Redania have soundly defeated the Nilfgaardians at Brenna. The Empire lost nearly 40,000 soldiers, and Marshal Cohurn has vanished without a trace. Army Group Center is in disarray, and King Foltest is forcing the enemy from Temerian lands. The Emperor has expressed readiness for truce negotiations. Victory is close at hand. Well, y'all want to talk.
I'm pleased to see you again, Mom. You need something?
The war's near its end. The future, what does it hold for you, Isbel? Wise counsel will always find a place at my court.
A tempting offer, Mom. So be it. I shall stay. But I've one condition. You're never to force me to wear shoes.
Ha! These terms I can agree to. Duty calls.
Of course.
Yes, Your Grace?
The war nears its end. What next for Reynard Odo?
Whatever you command, Your Grace. Is something amiss, my lady?
Take Reynard as your king? Yes.
To be perfectly blunt, I've no wish to give you orders anymore.
Your Grace? Would you wish me to leave? Remove me from the court?
No, Reynard. I'd wish you to stay. But I'd no longer wish to be your queen alone. Do you catch my meaning?
I do, Meve. I do.
He does.
It's time I attended to other matters.
They do.
Hey ho, how's my favorite queen in the north?
So, what awaits you now? What will you do?
Been contemplating it of late. Thought I might go back to the life of an outlaw. Not that I'd expect you to approve.
You're quite right, I wouldn't. It's why I wish to make certain you'll not feel tempted. Gascon, I hereby bestow upon you a number of estates near Scala.
What? Meve? Damn it, I don't know what to say.
Ha! A first?
Thank you, Meve. 1,000 thanks.
'Tis I who should thank you. With all my heart. It's time I attended to other matters. Farewell.
Huh? What is it now?
The war nears its end.
Sadly,
Sadly, why?
He's not dead yet.
I survived. Again. Rebuild your land, Queen. Enjoy your life. Me and my men, we'll be moving on.
Arnjolf, in Lyria and Rivia, your past matters not. Nor does your shame. Stay.
What about after? What do I tell my ancestors when the time comes? I yearn to sit at their table, lass, and drink mead in their company, so go I must.
So long, Arnjolf.
Alright, there we go. Twilight of the Golden Sun. Go to Demavend's camp.
Oh, look, 'tis Meve, slayer of the Blacklands. Long live the Queen! Just watch and wait. I wager you'll chase the Emperor himself off the throne. They say war's a man's affair, but you showed them a lady. They say war's a...
Is there even really a point in collecting? Oh. To all soldiers in service to Nilfgaardian Empire are hereby ordered to promptly head to Aldersburg. The defense of this castle is vital for our planned counteroffensive. Failure to comply with this order will result in punishment of particular severity. Duke Ardel Ep Dahi, Grand Chancellor, Commander of Army Group East.
The Lyrian army had grown into a great serpent. So much so that riding at the column's tail, Meve could not see its head. Footmen, cavalry, and archers stretched like a glistening snake between two horizons. Meve had come a long way indeed, and she felt proud. Suddenly, Meve heard angry cries and the clash of steel against steel, all at the column's front.
Those ranks! To the left! Man's left! Support the flank!
Meve drew her sword, spurred her horse, and galloped forward along the line of troops. Then, through the swirling battle dust, she spotted shimmering golden suns.
Nilfgaardian Survivors. Meve drew her sword, yet did not rush headlong into the heat of battle as she once would have. Old wounds and lasting trauma still nagged her, and besides, enough blood had already been spilt. The Queen awaited the day when she could finally exchange her heavy armor for an elegant dress and her saddle for a throne. Shortened battle.
Surround them!
Must be an important lesson in this. But what? Don't like this.
101, 102, 103.
Doubt I'll ever pay off these school loans.
152, 154.
As you wish, maybe.
Scrubbing duty again? Oh, gods.
Always scrubbing duty.
Ever have a stone knock out one of your teeth? I've hit the white of an eye from half a league away. Thing about slings, they hide well. Ever have a stone knock out one of your teeth? Bigger they are, easier they are to target. Nilfgaard!
Back.
left, right, left. Watch your heads!
Cursed traitors. I got one more space. Okay.
In the truth!
Thing about slings, they hide well.
Not going into play already, are we?
Scheiß in train!
What do we got left?
Of course I'll manage. I trained a full week.
Off to the front yet again.
Army's a waste of time for one like me.
Mercy! Have mercy!
Normally disciplined, determined to an extreme, these Nilfgaardians quickly broke rank and ran.
Deserters! Leaderless, Your Grace.
A scout reported.
Headed south they was, towards the frontier.
Chained prisoners now sat along the dusty road. Meve stopped in front of one. He was ragged and unshaven. Flies had taken an interest in his poorly bandaged hand. Spotting the Queen, he lowered his head and quivered with terror.
I know you take us for savages,
Began Meve, her gaze passing over several scraggy black-clads.
but fear not. We shan't flay you alive nor eat you for dinner. And when a truce is signed, you'll be sent home, where I most sincerely hope you'll stay this time.
As the Queen mounted her horse, she barely concealed a grimace. Her thighs were sore and chafed, her hands raw from the reins. But she bit her lip and rode on, for the prize was now very near.
It was in Aldersburg when it fell. Broke my heart, that did. But not complete. Now we'll take it back. Other kings could learn a thing or two from you, Your Majesty. Fight on! It was we who were to offer Lyria our aid. Things got turned right round. It was we who...
Hey. Give me that useless gold. Your Majesty, a boat used by the Nilfgaardians to haul looted goods has crashed into the span of the bridge. We can attempt to fish out the valuables, but the current is dangerously strong. Our soldiers would be at risk. It's worth it. Have them set to work. We must try. We must try. Oh. Actually, it wasn't worth it. I thought, for some reason I thought I was going to fix the bridge and I was going to get access to a little bit more stuff. What? Yeah, are you serious? You serious? My lady, as you can see, the residents of Aedirn are giving their every effort to rebuild their ruined homes. Yet they lack the proper materials. They ask if you'll be willing to trade lumber in exchange for items they've scavenged from nearby battlefields. What shall I tell them? Give them our wood, and add some gold for good measure. So we have no need of it.
The good mothers guided you to victory. Nilfgaard angered the gods. Too much pride in them, not enough humility. The entire North owes you thanks, milady. And you, the gods. The entire...
A new cemetery, one of many that have appeared in the area. Most of the dead have not been identified, their graves unnamed. Our soldiers have requested that we light candles in their honor. Are you willing to set aside a sum from our coffers for this purpose, your grace? Yes, without a shade of a doubt. Morale, morale, morale.
Meve was listening to a scout's report when screams suddenly burst from the prisoner transport. In a moment, Meve bore witness to a truly macabre sight. The Nilfgaardian captives to whom she had recently been merciful lay dead, massacred in cold blood among the camp's tents.
Blast it all.
Seethed the queen, looking at the bloodied corpses. Those responsible for the deed, peasants from the quarry at Ravenclough, Meve had welcomed into her ranks. The harm they'd endured from Nilfgaardians wielding whips. This was what had festered in their hearts and minds. The Rivians couldn't accept that their oppressors had gone unpunished. So they took matters into their own hands, in defiance of the Queen.
There's fiends, not folk,
cried the peasants, now armed and in uniform.
They was owed this, plain and simple.
It had been justice by a mob, and Meve knew it should not go unpunished. Yet at the last, ignoring her advisor's counsel, she left the former slaves' fate for their commanders to decide. For the Queen had grown weary of choosing between two evils, each one darker than the other.
Oh, I don't get to choose anything. Okay.
Long live Meve! Long live the Queen! Long live a liberator!
The war nears its end, and the black-clads flee with tails between their legs. The time has come to raise our homeland from ash and rubble. To those who yet live, take up hammer, saw, and axe. Roll your sleeves and set to work. The nation is building its home.
All's left is to drive the Blackclads from Aldersburg, and the war's won. Our Demavend's not bad, but he don't hold a candle to Meve. Our Demavend.
Hey. Traipsing through the countryside.
Meve noticed one of her scouts, a certain Corporal Larkin, halt his mount and train his gaze on the woods.
Your Grace, I thought I heard something. Could have sworn. A whisper, maybe, but... nothing now. It's all gone quiet. I think I might have imagined it, in fact.
Imagined?
Meve placed her hand on his shoulder.
No one has sharper senses than you. If you claim to have heard something, it's worth a closer look.
Corporal Larkin saluted, then rode past the trees. Suddenly in shadow, he keenly scanned his surroundings. Something caught his attention. He dismounted, then brushed aside ferns, exposing tracks made in the mud.
Your Majesty!
He shouted, quickly turning towards the road.
Sound the alarm! It's Scout!
An arrow whisked through the air, pierced his throat, and suddenly silenced him. Then the forest came alive with cries in the Elder tongue. Elves on the attack.
Right, elves. I'll show you how far I've come. The battle for Naught. Meve cursed under her breath. Did Squaretel hatred know no bounds? The war had already been lost. Nilfgaard, who had supported their cause against the northern kingdoms, had retreated beyond the Yaruga. By attacking the Queen's army, the elves must have known there stood nothing to gain. that is, other than the heads of enemy Dwan. Shortened battle. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
It's a trap! 2 arms!
Got business for me?
Damage enemy by 5 and its chasing is by 2.
Nay, Dwan they camest.
Catch!
Left, right, left, right.
Swords I smile at, weapons laugh to scorn.
Okay. Next.
As you wish, my lady.
Life had me ploughed, now here I'm marching proud.
Thing about slings, they hide well.
Now we will see who is weak.
It's you. You're the weak one. Surprise.
Cursed traitors. I shall not fail.
Oh my.
There's nobody left to heal. No, my drummer. You will pay.
I smell a reek.
Can you heal yourself? Nope, can't heal yourself.
Everything all right?
Oh, hello.
Hey?
Your tricks will not save you, Dwarf.
Whenever you play an elf, this is chasing the fight.
Left, right, left. What now?
Thanks.
Brenna, stop! We surrender!
Really?
The Scoia'tael fighters stood no chance against Meve. When the sounds of battle finally ceased, the Queen, victorious, tossed aside her arrow-studded shield. She then ordered the Commando's leader brought before her. She'd expected a ranter who would turn up his nose, spit in her face, and cry, "Death to all Dwan." But the bloodied elf before her was no arrogant firebrand. He averted his gaze, and his lips gently trembled.
Youthful you look, elf. How many summers to you? 30? More?
27, my lady.
27. A wonderful age. A shame to die so young.
I beg you, Renna. For mercy, I ask. If not for me, then at the least for...
Mercy? You jest. You wait in ambush, come at us like bandits, and now you dare ask for mercy.
It was no ambush.
What?
Don't play me for a fool. I know what I saw, and am no stranger to warcraft.
It's not you we wished to fight. Sverre.
Then who killed Corporal Larkin, Werebubs?
When we saw you on the high road, we fell back and hid in the wood. We wanted you to pass. Your scout's hearing, very keen. He heard something, then spotted our tracks. You must understand. We had no choice.
You make excuses that don't interest me.
Hey.
I want him in chains.
That's not...
And he's to be sent to Demavend.
You don't understand. He hates...
Oh, I understand very well. I know his hatred for your kind. But I don't bloody care.
That's not what I thought my choice would do.
Soon after, the Aedirnians took in all Meve's elven prisoners. What became of them at last is not hard to surmise.
That wasn't clear. I thought they were going to coax them to offer something more than excuses. Letter from Command Leader. Oh, achievement. My achievement is burn out to read all Spymaster letters. Translated from Elder Speech. Vangel, Nilfgaard has betrayed us. They've told the Nordlings our positions, exposed all our hideouts. The peace treaty will contain no guarantee of amnesty for those surrendering arms. You know what that means. We must flee the northern realms. Take your entire commando to the agreed upon location as fast as you can. I will wait a week, then move east. Yorveth. Oh, Yorveth. I wonder... I missed the loot. I have to go back. What was I wondering? Oh, I was wondering if commando is actually a plural term. Oh, it's that thing. It's actually a plural term. I've never heard it used as a plural before. Maybe it is just referring to a single commando, but that would be weird. Okay. Ah, can't miss this one. Master Nilfgaardians, the time you could demand, require, and expect has come to an end. My payment is non-negotiable. Not the amount, nor the currency. Your florins are now worth less than Siderian coppers. I give you until tomorrow. After that, safe passage to the border will no longer be possible due to Queen Meve's approach from the south. X. But that was Xavier. Xavier.
Treat yourself to our new view for a better future through and through.
Yeah, ha 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 ha!
First foundations hoist the walls, then we'll revel in its halls. Everyone's doing their part to rebuild the homeland. Everyone's doing their part.
Nobody sounds like people sound like in cartoons or games. Like, I've never heard a person who has a voice like that. A lot of movies and TV shows too. They sound often very gruff. Nobody sounds that gruff.
It would be an honor to fight at your side, Majesty. Side by side, we'll kick those black clads across the Yoruba.
Long live Aedirn! Long live Rivia! Long live Hyrule! Lyria!
It'd be an honor to fight.
Hyrule? It's the wrong game, man. Have you heard of Hyrule?
The Lyrian corps neared Aldersburg. It could not have been on a more idyllic day. The sun shone, birds sang, trees rustled in a light breeze. But Meve saw it as she had at the war's start. Walls illumined by a fire's glow, the cries of fleeing civilians, the stench of burning flesh. As on that day, Aldersburg was under siege. At this time, Aedirn's flags fluttered in the field, while Nilfgaard's tattered sons crowned the fort's towers. The Queen found Demavend's tent without difficulty. Made of sheets of silk edged with silver thread, it positively shone.
Seems the realm's restored to a virtuous path,
muttered Meve.
Aha! There she is! Queen Meve, savior of the North, the Sun Slayer.
Mockery I don't appreciate.
I wouldn't dare. Not my words, those. You've been painted thus in song. Master Dandelion himself wrote a ballad, The Battle for the Bridge. If you take the bard at his word, you're as fierce with a blade as any witcher.
Is that jealousy I hear?
To be perfectly honest, Meve, it is. For I hadn't the pluck nor resolve. And when all the North tucked tail, went to shite, you alone stepped up and bared your fangs. Let it be a lesson for the future to us all.
You called out the future. Tell me, how's your son?
Baldwin. Growing like a weed he is. And the spitting image of his old man.
Good news all, especially given the mother's profession.
She's now Countess Demeretta of Gullet, a lady of the court.
Ooh, your lawful wife must be thrilled.
Hard to say in truth. I've not seen her in some time. Duty keeps me away, you understand.
You work hard, I'm certain. Many a night, too.
You might say so indeed. But enough about me. As we're chirping away like two gossips in the field, do tell me, what a villain.
He perished in the assault on Rivia Castle.
Oh my. Fighting for which side?
The right one. Demavend, the wound is fresh, the pain immense. I'd rather we not speak of it. A lesson for the future? What do you mean?
My dear, this war won't change a bloody thing, you know. Nilfgaard will be Nilfgaard, the North the North. We'll sign a truce, the Blackclads will turn tail towards home, but the old borders don't satisfy us soul.
I'm perfectly satisfied with them, thank you. And I just wish other folk would respect them too.
You're one hell of a warrior, but you're no strategist at all. Your perspective, you've got to broaden it. Nilfgaard, we cannot allow it to regain strength and spirit, else we'll face another invasion within a decade or two. Measures are required. Preventive, preemptive, whatever the learned call it. Build an army, a vast one. Wait in ambush, and when they least expect it, break their bloody spine. Just think if we were to join forces.
Enough. I don't wish to hear it. Won't even entertain the thought. I'll help you take Aldersburg, but then I'll go home, where, God's willing, I'll live to a ripe old age.
As you wish. We can mount the assault at any time, but... My scouts report a small Nilfgaardian force approaching from the south. They've stayed off the roads, moved only under the cover of night, escorting someone.
Who?
I've no notion. Could be a mage. Devilishly unpredictable, that lot. Could wreak havoc in our ranks. Either way, before we rush at the walls, we must make certain they don't reach Aldersburg at all.
I shall see to it.
Are you sure? You've just arrived. Must be weary after the long journey.
An understatement if I ever heard one. But I wish all this to be over, quickly.
Meve set out after the Nilfgaardians immediately, a cavalry escort in tow. Her unmatched scouts, who had led the army through the mountains of Mahakam and Angren swamps, quickly found the enemy's trail.
This way, Your Grace. It's not far now.
That very same day, Meve's force caught up to the mysterious black-clad unit. Lyrian riders surrounded the foe, forcing the Nilfgaardians to halt. All felt so quiet, the creaking of taut Lyrian bowstrings could be discerned.
The common tongue. Which of you knows it?
I do, Your Majesty.
You also know who you deal with, I see. What is your name?
Kaldvin, Your Majesty.
At last. A Nilfgaardian name I can pronounce. So, Kaldwin. It seems this war will reach its end in 2 days' time at the most. 'Twould be silly to die today, wouldn't you agree?
It would, milady.
Precisely. I've spilled enough blood. I've lost the appetite for more. So, provided you don't give me a good reason to kill you, you'll walk away with your lives. Now tell me. You carry something for General Ebdahi. What is it?
A letter.
Urgent to the point of insanity, it must be. Who wrote it? The dear Madam Ebdahi?
No, Your Majesty. The Emperor.
My. A letter from Emir himself. You must be an important person. A noble, or... Yet your uniform is simple, with no discernible distinctions. Who are you truly, Kaldwin? A spy?
A simple messenger, Your Majesty.
Don't lie. I know messengers, how they travel. Alone, armorless, atop a swift steed. You're escorted by cavalry of the heavy sort.
For I often carry orders the recipients don't wish to perform, thus the escort.
Give me the letter.
I've sworn to deliver it to General Ebdahi, or to die in the quest to do so.
Oh, very well. My translator shall read this letter, then return it to you. You shall break no vow, and who knows? You might even survive.
And if I refuse?
Guess.
So be it. I accept your offer.
Meve's translator cracked the seal and read. And as he read, his eyes grew wide as saucers. Then he whispered in the Queen's ear.
Truly, and you're certain you're not mistaken. The wonders of this world. Kaldwin, consider this your lucky day. I allow you to complete your mission, with one proviso.
And that is?
That when you hand him the letter, you will give the General my regards.
As Kaldwin and escort set off towards Aldersburg, the Lyrian soldiers looked at their queen with disbelief. To leave a Nilfgaardian to fulfill a secretive task? Meve failed to stifle a rather mean laugh. They'll understand tomorrow, she thought. General Ebdahi had prefaced Lyria's and Rivia's invasion with a series of arrogant demands. The Nilfgaardian had been impudent, as he had felt sure he'd achieve a quick and decisive victory. Yet several months on, he too received an ultimatum. One signed by Emperor Emir var Emreis himself. The missive was concise and left no room for interpretation. With General Ebdahi dead, the Nilfgaardian army descended into chaos. The kings of the north, united, took advantage and struck at the foe. Their victory was complete. The Nordling forces cheered their commanders and monarchs, but for none so vehemently as the one queen among them. Many dream of achieving the impossible. Meve had done it. Through wit, determination, and boldness, she had thwarted the Nilfgaardian invasion. The queen would rule for many more years. Stern, yet ever just.
Ah! So a lass saved the North from the Blackclads?
That is one way to put it.
Well, I'll be damned. And a chap. She find herself one in the end?
Leave it be. Bloke's been spinning the tale all night. Story's done. Time we got some shut-eye.
Yes. Particularly as we've yet a long road before us.
Am I supposed to know who that is?
Phew. Throat must be past as old leather after all that. Except, I'm itching to know what happened to the lot of them. Reynard, Gascon.
Ah, very well. Whom shall we start with? Willem? A pawn, a tool in others' hands. Most, if not all, had seen him thus. Yet in the end, he proved his worth soundly. Though he'd started the war a traitor, he perished in the fray a hero, and would be remembered as such. Having settled in Riviere, Gascon embarked on a life worthy of his new title. In doublet and ruff, he looked to his ample fields and livestock in daytime, attended banquets and feasts come the eve. And then one night, he grabbed his bow and quiver, saddled his favorite mount, and disappeared without a trace. Though Nilfgaard owed its defeat chiefly to Meve, in the Empire her name was uttered with utmost respect. Returning soldiers spoke in awed tones of her courage and generosity, referring to her as Gwaedin, the tenacious one. With the advent of peace, tensions waned. Lyria's and Rivier's disparate races seemed to live harmoniously, side by side. The Queen pressed for new laws aimed at curbing oppression. They were a step towards more enlightened rule, yet sadly were habitually broken. And Meve? As I said, she ruled with an iron hand, not fist. Reynard ever at her side, tempering, supportive. No longer a general and trusted advisor, he had to the Queen become something more. Much, much more. And now, if you'd allow me...
Course. Leave him be, lads. Let him get some rest. Till the time comes for the next tale.
Finish the Thronebreaker campaign. I don't think I'll watch the credits. 40 hours. Okay. I could install the multiplayer. I'm gonna read about it. I'll read a little bit about it though later. Well, anyway, I'm Lost Worm. You've been watching The Worm's Turn. I just finished up Thronebreaker, The Witcher's Tales, so thanks for watching. I don't know what I'm gonna play next. I'll probably be starting, I'll already have started by the time you watch this video. I'll probably do Pillars of Eternity 2, just because I've already played Pillars of Eternity 1, and I like to play things as within a series as close together as possible, so I don't forget stuff about them. So if you liked it, make sure to actually press the like button on the video, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more, and in the descriptions I've got bookmarks, timestamps that help you jump to the type of content you want to watch within the video. I may do a stream at some point. I don't know if I'll ever be able to regularly do streams, just because my schedule at work is not regular, so I wouldn't be able to consistently do streams, which I don't know whether or not that's necessary, but it seems to be advised in general online that if you're going to do a stream, try to do it during consistent time slots. I'm not going to do it during Pillars of Eternity 2. I don't think it's a good streaming game, but I'll figure one out, I believe. So, again, thanks for watching, and have yourselves a good day.